Hello, book lovers. I'm Peg, back to talk about the Republic of Consciousness Prize, which I briefly touched on in my last video, but I have become completely ensconced in at this point and having a wonderful time that I wanted to share. I'll review just a little bit about what it is. This is the third year for the Republic of Consciousness Prize, started by Neil Griffith, a former booktuber. I haven't seen him on booktube for a while, Neil. We need you on there. Okay, anyway, and this will be the third year. It's a prize specifically for books from small presses, and he describes small presses as under 5 full-time workers, so really small. And the idea is these books are really literary. They're things big presses probably wouldn't take a chance on. They aren't hoping to sell 1 million copies, but they're hoping to attract more serious literary readers, which I'm trying to become. Anyway, so I had mentioned before, well, I want to tell you a little bit how I've gotten interested in this. I've been retired now for 10 years and have become a voracious reader. I mean, I already read a lot but during that time, and I can see my reading taste changes as I go along. I always watched prizes. I read the Booker Prize, and some of those, but more and more I am loving the prizes being introduced to, well, we aren't supposed to use the word experimental, but different, unconventional type novels. And there's so many great prizes, and also the translation prizes. I notice they have a lot of just different books, very literary. In fact, talking about literary, I want to say that Neil Griffith describes this prize as looking at hardcore literary fiction and gorgeous prose. And that just about says it. But I've noticed, as I said, as I go along reading more, and I followed some good gallery discussions on BookTube on these different prizes, translation prizes, etc. I've really gotten more and more into them and have confidence that I can, you know, approach these very literary works and make something out of them. I may not get everything that's in them, but I certainly am enjoying them a little more than I used to, or at least I'm approaching them. So anyway, this year I joined as a Patreon to the Republic of Consciousness website several months ago because they had a tier that you could get all 13 books. They would send you all 13 books of the Longlist when it came out. And in the past, it's been kind of hard to get here in the U.S. So I thought, you know, that's definitely worth it in itself. So the time has come, and I feel like I really owe them a little bit more because they probably didn't mean it for American readers, and I realize it's going to cost a little bit more for them to send books to the U.S. And I thought maybe they'd come all in one big box, but evidently each publisher is going to send them to me as, you know, separately. So I've arranged to stay at the same address up in Pennsylvania, where they're going to be sending them for the next month. So I'll be here when my books come in the mail. I can't wait. So anyway, I realize they're having to pay a little more to send them to me, but hopefully I can get some business for them by talking about the books, etc. And I have noticed already a lot of them. I'll give the web pages as I talk about them, and you can also see in the big TLS review that I've posted at the bottom the different websites of the 13 different small presses that have books up for this. So anyway, okay. I think most of them now have gotten web pages up where you can buy the book from them, which is so much better than buying them from, you know, the big A or whatever, or buying from a small bookstore. So hopefully, and as I said, I think more and more of them are conscious that we in America really need some literary fiction these days to take our minds off things. So hopefully I'll dredge up some business for them here in the U.S. Anyway, okay, I'm going to just talk about a couple books today, though none of mine have arrived yet. I did get a couple of them on Kindle and start reading because I was just so anxious to start reading them. And I want to go into a little bit of this and hopefully before the month's over, before March 2nd is when the shortlist is announced, I'll have gone over more of them. Okay, let's see. What am I starting with? My first one. Now, come on. I hope this is going to work. Okay. My first book that I read is from Charco Press. I like to see their insignia. And Charco Press is actually, I believe, in Edinburgh, but they are specializing in books from Latin America and the translations of those. And they have on their website, they talk about a little bit that charco, I guess, means puddle there, and it has to do with the crossing of the Atlantic Ocean, or puddle jumping, that these books are doing, because they're talking about them in the UK and over there, and they're hopping the puddle to the US too. Anyway, but so as I said, they concentrate on Latin American authors, and this they brought out, I believe this is their first year, and they brought out, I think, 3 different, well, they have quite a few different ones actually this year. And this one that is entered in this is called Resistance. And it has already won big prizes in Argentina and Brazil and Germany. Actually, I guess maybe it's translated into German also. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about this and how I approach, I guess, all these very literary books. First of all, I expect to read them twice. I think that's called close reading in academic circles these days. But the first time through, I really don't expect much. I just read through. I know there's going to be lots I don't get. I just go with it. And then the second time, it's amazing how much more opens up. Between the readings, I also might read reviews if I can find them and find out a little bit more about the book. But this one, for instance, The Strange Story, it's a story about the author's actual family, based on his family. And he was born in Brazil and then moved to Argentina. And his family history dealt with the military dictatorship there in Argentina in the 1970s. And in the book, we were given a flat synopsis at the first that this a man and a woman were in Argentina, and during the start of the problems, they could not have children, so they adopted a son. And when he was 6 months old, they moved to Brazil. And there they had 2 more children, a girl first and then another boy. And the story is told from the younger boy's perspective. And that's the flat story of it. Well, the I think genius of the way this is written is what we call non-linear time jumbling type things. And the first time I read it, I was aware that we were moving back and forth in time. And sometimes that could be very confusing. But it wasn't confusing. I realized he was talking about the family before they moved, before he was born, and after, and then what happened, and the problems that adoption and exile and all those things faced. And then the second time I read it, I could see the basic thing, what was happening, but I still had to keep reclimatizing my stuff to where we were in the story myself. And then the second time I read it, it was amazing how I could see how the nonlinear, it starts out now, today, and then it jumps back in time and then forward in time, and different things. And I can see how that's brilliantly done, and it makes the story and the reading so much more interesting to learn about it from different perspectives, as if you were learning about a real person. You wouldn't necessarily learn about them in a linear fashion. And in about a 5th or 6th chapter, he goes into a metafictional kind of mode where he talks directly to the reader and says, am I making sense? Is this working? and then gives some comments about the writing of it, and it's just wonderful. I just love it, but I don't think I would have gotten that much out of it, or I didn't the first time I read it. So first of all, I've got to follow the rules on these. I think they're all going to need reading twice at least, and not like, twice in a row. Sit down and read it right again after you finish it the first time. Okay, I'm trying to make this, oh, it's already getting long. Okay, the second, I'm only going to talk about 2 books. The second book I'm talking about was put out by a new press called Splice, and it just put out its first 3 collections of short stories in 2018, and the book that is in this is called Hang Him When He Is Not There. It's a great cover. Can't really see the title. Here's the UK hardback version. Hang Him When He Is Not There. And they make the statement that they publish 3 collections of short stories. Each stands on its own, but there are shared aesthetic harmonies and discords between the 3. So I'm kind of anxious to read the other 2 now. Also, the Splice website has other things. It has an online review part and a yearly anthology where somehow they splice the different authors together. So that looks interesting. All these have ways you can join them and learn more from the website. And I'm giving the websites below. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about this story. Now, I admit I have not finished this. I've just not even finished it the first time, let alone the second time, and it's going to involve a complete rereading. But I think you can see what point I'm at. As I'm reading now, it does seem like short stories, and they are terrific. I had written that they're just so descriptive, and I am just immersed in each one of them. Some of them are kind of crazy, and a lot of them have kind of black humor, and they're wonderful, but I can't wait to read them. I mean, this is great the first time, but I can't wait to read them again, because somehow from some I've mentioned, or some people have mentioned, that there's a connections between the stories, and I'm sure I'm not going to see that till the second time I read through, so I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, so I will also say there's a Republic of Consciousness website has a discussion group of its own going, and involves some of the judges that were that they had last year on it. Some really smart people, and they're talking, and it's on, what's the name of the somebody needs to write in the name of the app. All of a sudden I don't have it. It starts with S. Anyway, it's like Voxer, but it's just for writing, for group discussions. And you can join it if you, I'm sure if you apply to the Republic of Consciousness website. I don't have very good information here, do I? Anyway, I'm here waiting by my mailbox, hoping some more of my books will start arriving. And talk to you soon when I've read some more. Bye.